Okay. Many people are talking about possibility of having a surcharge for extracurricular activities next year. Can you explain that idea? Is it a definite idea?
That idea is currently in the adopted Board of Education budget, and it would ask our students in grades 7 through 12 to pay a one fee for the entire year, $100, and to participate in any club, any activity, as many as you want, dramatic productions at our schools, to help offset the costs of our co-curricular activities. We have heard that the district has asked our athletes to help co-share in those expenditures, and that this is another way just to look at all of our students sharing. Now, we know that the majority of our athletes also are in clubs. We have some students, though, who are in clubs who don't participate in athletics. So it was a way to maintain our clubs and activities, and it's estimated that would generate $100,000 for the budget.
So the athletic fee would also go up?
Yes. No, the athletic fee currently is still the same. This is a separate fee for clubs and activities at this point in time. It is part of the mitigation strategy of the Board of Ed that if the cuts continue, another $500,000 million cut to this budget, that the board would at least consider its ability to continue funding athletics. Currently, the Board of Education allocates about $410,000 for athletics, and that is on top of what our parents already pay, which is more than $200,000 towards the program.
Okay.
One last question from me on Chalk Hill. From a relatively early point in this whole budget process, you talked about the viability of closing Chalk Hill and establishing an eighth grade academy at Masuk, and you expected to save around $800,000, which is an early number. I've read and I've heard some people connect the dots that that might have affected Vavrick's decision to cut $850,000. Is that the case, or is this something that you were aware of the cut earlier and wanted to preempt?
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Vavrick deliberately chose that number because of the amount we were saving on Chalk Hill. I think it was a matter of two events converging at the same time. I have heard from Mr. Vavrick that the current proposed budget that the board had adopted was at a rate that he felt could not be supported by the town and was necessary he make a cut. So I don't think that he said, you know, if I cut this much, then the district will do this.
If the Board of Finance cuts your budget even more, what's going to be next that you're going to take off from the school? Like, what's going to be next to be cut?
That's a tough question.
I
know. Tonight we have a workshop. When I say we, the Board of Education, myself, the finance director, our administrative team. This is a second workshop we're having with the Board of Finance regarding our budget. It is my hope that as the Board of Finance reviews our budget, that they will understand the complexities of running an educational system, the demands to take care of every student, that every student is entitled to an appropriate education, that there will be no cuts. With that said, if there are reductions in the Board of Education adopted budget, at this point it is the Board of Education budget that is on the table. The Board of Education will have to look at mitigation strategies, and that means, which have already been discussed, further layoffs. It will be looking at the athletic program, reduction of programs. None of these options are desirable. They will change the way we do business in our district. So that would be a discussion that the Board of Education would entertain. And my role as the educational leader is to advise the board and to say, if you do this, this is the impact, and these are the bad things that are going to happen. If you cut here, this is the impact, and these are the bad things that are going to happen. And it's very difficult because all of these are needs, legitimate needs of our students, and no one wants to say that we're not going to take care of our students in those ways. So these are very tough choices. I'm also mindful that our economic times are very challenging. and that our citizens are very concerned about the budget. So we have a lot of good people and good thinking coming together, but we are not unique. As I talk to other superintendents and other officials in other towns around the state, I was at a meeting yesterday with the superintendents, and it is common that staff is being laid off across the state this year. I talked with another superintendent who is reconfiguring his whole district to save money. In Bristol, they are closing a school because of the financial impact. So school closing, reorganization, any way that we can redo our district so we can preserve teachers. I think that is how superintendents are trying to approach this. And that will be part of my work to support the board. How can we maintain the educational quality of our district? And there are tough choices on the table.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good.
I have one last question. So the idea of kindergartners coming to Masuk, is that definitely not going to happen?
At this point, it is less desirable because transportation. And transportation is part of the whole issue, how we get our students to school. And there's a cost factor. In the case of bringing our youngest learners here, which I also know other districts have done, is put kindergartners at the high school and have been very successful because high school students love to volunteer, love to help out, and it doesn't seem that the community has as much concern about the age difference because it's such a huge gap. However, at this time, it appears, based on feedback from First Student, our bus provider, right, we have 3 tiers of transportation, that we would have to put a 4th tier on. And so those buses would not start picking up the kindergarten students for the morning session until 9:30, 9:40. The first session of kindergarten won't start till 10 o'clock. Goes to 12:30. Now we run into lunch. The afternoon session, the students will be getting home about 5 o'clock. And the only other way to avoid that is to actually bring on another 10 separate buses, and that's about $75,000 each.
Oh, wow.
So the cost of adding buses to the fleet is prohibitive. When you already have the buses in service, it's not as expensive to have them do another run. It's just, now it's a time factor. Now, someone said, could you start another school at 10 o'clock and have the kindergartners, fix their day? But I'm hard pressed to say that it would be the right thing to do to start any school in our district at 10 o'clock and have them getting home at 5 o'clock, especially here, the winter. So it comes down again. It's cost-benefit analysis, but the program, if we could do it, educationally sound. But it's the transportation that will become prohibitive. I think all the savings we'd reap on moving the kindergartens here and closing Chalk Hill, we'd pay on buses. So to me, it is not a real viable option. Could it be done? Yes. Could the board choose to do that? Yes. But again, it's not real desirable.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Palmer, for joining us today and answering all our questions. And we'll see
Thank
you
you.
guys next time on the round table.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.